Many years ago, I was flying down to El Paso, Texas. I was in the dreaded middle seat on Southwest Airlines. And I was squeezed in by a couple of large individuals. And I was doing a little preparation with my Bible and writing a few notes, and the guy next to the window was obviously from the Middle East. And he kept looking over, and finally he said to me, I was headed to El Paso to do a men's conference there. He said to me, "Sir, may I ask you a question?" And I said, "Of course." He said, "Is that a Bible?" I said, "It is a Bible." He said, "Well, maybe you could explain American religion to me." He said, "I'm from Iran, and I'm Muslim, and everybody in my country is Muslim, and I don't understand American religion. I am immigrating into the United States of America, and I have to go back to come through the immigration center at El Paso, Texas, and I don't understand American religion." I said, "Well, I'd be happy to answer that question. Can you frame it up?" And he said, this was his question, "Can you please tell me the difference between a Catholic, a Protestant, and a Baptist?" I don't know who he ran into in the process of coming into the United States, but all I can say is I got it right. I sorted it out, Catholics, Protestants, and Baptists. And I said to him, "May I ask you a question?" He said, "Of course, of course, of course." I said, "Do Muslims have sins?" I knew they did, but I wanted to hear how he would answer that. "Yes, we have sins." He said, "We have so many sins, I don't even know all the sins." He said, "In fact, to be honest, I'm going to El Paso to do some sins." Really? "Yes," he said, "I met a girl in the immigration process, and that's why I'm going there." I said, "How does Allah feel about your sins?" "It's very bad. I could go to the hell." "Really? Why don't you stop doing those sins?" "I can't." And then he said this, never forget it, "I hope the God will forgive me." I said, "Really? Why would he do that?" "I can tell you personally, I know him, and he won't." He looked at me and said, "You know the God, and you're in the middle seat on Southwest?" Who are you kidding? I said, "I do know him. And you're right to think you're going to go to hell. But I have good news for you. You can be reconciled with the true God, and all your sins can be forever forgiven. Are you interested?" "Please, sir, please." There's no salvation in Islam. There's no redemption in Islam. There's no atonement in Islam. There's only hopelessness. I unfolded to him the gospel of reconciliation. That's what I do. That's what I do. I tell people they can be reconciled to God. That's my job. That's my life. That's your life. Are you a believer? That's why you're here. That's why you're here. The Lord didn't keep you here because he likes your worship. It's far less than it ought to be. He didn't keep you here because he likes your virtue. It's far less than it ought to be. He didn't keep you here because he loves the way you build loving, lasting, meaningful, compassionate, sympathetic, generous relationships with everybody. No, he endures the failures in all those categories to leave you here for one purpose, and that is the ministry of reconciliation. You live in this world to tell sinners you can be reconciled to God. That's what we do. Most deadly virus in the world is not the HIV virus, it's the SIN virus. It kills everybody it infects, and not just in time, but in eternity as well.